Welcome. We are back. Another day in the market. Crazy day. Ended up closing green after being down quite a bit at one point. We had FOMC minutes today. We had Fisker earnings after hours. We'll go through that. A lot of cool stuff going on, and we got to talk about everything on the charts tonight. I wasn't live last night, but a lot is going on right now. There's some very important levels for Bitcoin, which we're already going to be looking at in a second here, but for the whole entire market, like, we're pretty much at the point where we could maybe see, based on how we do tomorrow and Friday, I think is going to give us a signal for the next maybe 2 to 3 weeks in the market, unless something crazy happens, like catalyst wise. But apart from that, the technicals are at their make or break areas. I'm going to tell you exactly which levels you need to be watching, what you need to be watching for the market. And yeah, last Friday I sent this message to premium members saying I was looking for a dead cat bounce earlier in the week, and I was saying, I was looking for just a quick move up, because last Friday was a pretty red day for those of you who were market participants last Friday, which is probably all of you. So I was looking for an early bounce this week, which we did get between yesterday and Monday, right? So we had a nice little move up towards the end of the day on Monday, I believe. Let me make sure. What's today? Today is, let me get off extended hours. So Monday was the 14th. Yeah, so you could see off the 14th, pretty much around like 1:30 was your low, and then you just started bouncing into the close, and then nice day. So actually, am I looking at this incorrectly? So which was the 15th? Okay. So you sold off on the 14th, and then you bounced a little bit into the close. You gapped up yesterday, went sideways, got it. So I was looking for this bounce earlier in the week up to these levels, which we're currently testing. 200-day moving average, previous resistance. And now I'm going to see what's next. So I said overall I was macro bearish because of the potential head and shoulders, which I'm going to get back to when we talk about the S&P 500. But these are the areas where we're going to see whether we still have bullishness in the market or not. So we're getting there. So let's see what happens. But I'll give a little bit more of a breakdown there. But so far, the first part of the plan did go very well. We've played 6 different call options this week, inside, premium, and outside. All of them have been winners. So those have all gone well. Now we're going to see, maybe we get a little bit of a pullback. But if we don't, and if we start continuing higher, that could really set us up for an upside breakout. So that's really what I'm going to get to later in the stream. Right now, let's go talk about Bitcoin, and then we'll get back to stocks. All right, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This is a stream that you want to definitely pay attention for, at least the first half. I mean, hopefully you stick around for the second half. But the first half, there's going to be a lot of important information you're going to need on your charts for the next couple weeks. So starting with Bitcoin, it looks amazing to me. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. On the daily, the swing trade's already up 10% since the entry. You successfully backtested 42,000. On the 4 hour, you look like you have an inverse head and shoulders. It's a little bit tough to draw a neckline because it's pretty hard to break out of this, but I think honestly anything above this high over here is a breakout. So it looks good. You had a crazy good run. You fell down a little bit. You pulled back. Now you're running again, flipping previous resistances into supports on the 4 hour time frame and on the daily time frame. Take a look at this general bounce over here, but let's go back in time. Take a look at this top from January of 2021. So Bitcoin, I think, could be set it up to at least make a move towards the 200-day moving average in the next few weeks. I could be wrong. Definitely if it breaks under this low, you could go the other way for some time. But as long as this low holds, this is the first level I'm watching, the upper 40,000s, almost 50,000. So that's what I'm watching on Bitcoin. I actually just found out the other day that, I believe I already knew this, but I don't know, I never really put too much thought into it when it actually happened, because I kept hearing news about like, all these Bitcoin ETFs like never getting approved. And I know there's been Grayscale and a couple others, but like an actual good ETF. So I've always traded Riot and MAR options for Bitcoin, but I just realized the other day that there's like an actual Bitcoin ETF, and here we could just compare this to Bitcoin. You can see it tracks it very nicely. So now, I talk about Bitcoin every night on stream. I don't trade Bitcoin too often on like crypto exchanges, and I really don't want to get into options on crypto exchanges. So I've been waiting for something like this so I could just trade it through my actual brokerage, and now it's there. So I'm excited for that. I tweeted that out yesterday. In terms of other cryptos, Litecoin is starting to pivot. Let me get off that. Litecoin is starting to pivot. It's up 10% since the entry. Nice higher low. Hopefully it just hits the target before hitting the stop. That's literally it for Litecoin. Keep in mind there is a little bit of hidden bearish divergence developing. Let me see if Bitcoin has the same thing. No, it made a high, so you're good on Bitcoin. And then OXT, same thing. Maybe a little bit of hidden bearish divergence developing here. But this already technically just pretty much hit the first target, so hopefully this makes a higher low. All you really want to see on a lot of these altcoins, even apart from Litecoin and OXTs, you just want to see them make higher lows than the lows they put in on, I think, the 12th. Yeah, the 12th. That's really the main thing I'd be looking for with most cryptos. All right, so Ethereum, nice. The hidden bearish divergence, you know, there's still a potential for it, but it's not developing anymore. It got pretty close to confirming, and then now you're gaining positive momentum on the MACD again, so that is good. Hopefully this gives you the steam to do this. All right, hopefully you can break above these areas, and then that'll invalidate your bearish divergence because you'll be making a higher high. You get back above this resistance zone, maybe even 200-day moving average, but you have some tough resistance just ahead of you on Ethereum. So watch how it reacts to 33, 34, 3500 in the next few days if it does test it. And that's really it for crypto. So let's talk about the market now. What's up, Austin, Scrooge, D, Steven, Tenderfoot, William, Zeke, Skip, Tilu, Dave, Libre. D says some people are square. All right, so stocks. That's what we're all here for. Hidden bearish divergence, just like Ethereum. We were talking about this on Monday night. There's a lot of hidden bearish divergence on the daily developing on most of the ETFs and, you know, indices for the market, and that's stalling out for now. You had a slightly green day today, and you're not gaining or losing negative. You're not losing positive momentum. You're not gaining positive momentum. So it's stalled out for now. You're still going to need to make a higher high eventually than your previous all-time highs to invalidate this. So it's not going to be easy. But we'll see. Really what you need the S&P to do to not have hidden bearish divergence on the daily is break above all-time highs before the MACD crosses over to red. So I don't know, at some point it'll probably confirm, but hopefully we have a little bit of a rally before that. Let's see how the other ones look. Same thing on the Qs. Hidden bearish divergence is stalled out for now, so we can take that off my MACD for a little bit. It's kind of developing on the ARK ETF. The ARK definitely lagged today. There's actually some pretty crazy, where did I put it? There was some pretty crazy put options coming in for ARK and Tesla this Friday. I don't remember exactly where I put it though. It must have been in here. Let's see if we can find it. So I don't know if you can see that. These, I believe, are pretty much like all in the money, but you had a $14 million put buy for ARK this Friday. So $14 million betting against ARK this week. It's in the money, but still it expires this week. And then same thing for Tesla, $20 million for the the 1090 puts. I was gonna say 1100 for the 1090 puts this Friday. So yeah, these came in around 11 o'clock, around 11:20 EST today. So that was really interesting. And I think they actually went higher in the afternoon. Let's see. So those started off well, and then I don't know, I think they probably fell over in the afternoon. So let's go over to the actual market analysis, why everything is at such a big make or break area. And let's start with the S&P 500 like we usually do. So in terms of the price action on the daily, 2 days in a row closing above the 200-day moving average again, but you do have resistance just ahead of you between 452 to 455. That's your big resistance zone, and honestly you need a break above 458 to invalidate a potential head and shoulders from eventually confirming. So the easiest way to look at the market right now, in my opinion, is this, and it actually really could take some patience. This is the good thing, the good path. And anything like this is a bad path. You really want to create a higher high than the two highs you put in the beginning of the month to invalidate that head and shoulders. Otherwise, if you can't, could start heading back down again. So that's really how I'm looking at the market right now. On lower time frames, bullish engulfing candle on the 4-hour for the S&P 500. We had this bullish pin bar on Monday, which I think we talked about, which was good. Then we gapped up yesterday. So we look pretty decent here on lower time frames. Even I could go much lower. On the 15-minute, had a nice little wedge breakout going into FOMC minutes today. And on the 5-minute, you also broke out of a very big level towards the end of the day and back tested it, which was 446. You can see the resistance. Pretty much, it was your huge resistance yesterday. And then this morning, you opened, you tested it. You gapped down this morning, you didn't test it all today. So you finally just broke right through it in the afternoon after the minutes, which was pretty much this candle over here. So that's good. Above 446 tomorrow, I think, is bullish for the S&P 500. Below 446 could give you move down to like 444 unless some sort of intraday pattern appears or something. But that's a big level I'm watching, just like on lower time frames for tomorrow, 446. And that's really it. So the S&P 500, it's honestly too simple. If we start breaking down again, first level I'd watch is 441.5, this gap fill. If we continue going up, I think your first step for resistance would be around 452. And overall, you just want to do whatever is possible if you're a bull on the market, you want to do whatever is possible to invalidate this, because there still is very much the potential of this head and shoulders, but it doesn't mean anything until you break under these levels. So that's my thoughts on the S&P. Everything else is still just as interesting. The QQQ, still in this descending broadening wedge, a little bit of an inside day today. This could open a decent trade to either direction. But you just look at it like this. You're just kind of in this little range for the past 2 days. So breaking out of this little range to either side could be a little bit of a trade. 4-hour bullish engulfing candle on the QQQ as well. And on lower time frames, not too much. We're showing a little bit of resistance around 356.6 from this high over here and this low. So it's really it for the QQQ. The Russell 2000, the RKTF, this is what you really want to kind of focus on. So the Russell 2000 is back above the range, so it was kind of weird. We broke under the range of spinning for almost a year. It's for all the small cap traders, like I always say. Broke under that range, you started kind of bear flagging, rallying into it, then you rejected it, and today and yesterday you've actually been able to reclaim the range. So you're back within the range. Every day you close above 204 on the Russell 2000 is a good day, and this could really create a larger move up to over here to test that 200 moving average, and we're now pretty much approaching the small cap earnings season. We already finished large caps for the most part. We've been getting some mid caps this week, and small caps are right around the corner. So yeah, get ready for earnings. Hopefully those can help carry this back up towards the upper part of the range and maybe break out eventually, but we're not even close to that yet. I mean, it's only one red day away from being a bearish retest, and then you break back under. So it's back up by a thread. Okay, the small cap index it's there. It's been technically bearish for the past few weeks. Now you're finally entering, I don't know if I'd say bullish territory, but your previous area of supply and demand before we broke all of that. I mean, this is where you chopped around for a whole year. Break under that's pretty serious, but if that invalidates, that could be really, really good. So this is why you want to focus on 204 for the Russell 2000. So like I said on the SPY, just focus on the getting above 457 before falling under 426. For the Russell 2000, you want to just stay above 204. And the ARK ETF is also at a make or break area. You know, there's two different ways to look at this. Okay, if we delete the green lines, then you've got a bear flag pretty much. We could probably redraw this a little bit. If you delete the green lines, you've got a bear flag and potential hidden bearish divergence. But if you add those green lines, you are testing the supply line of this wedge that you've been in since November. So the next few days is very, very important for mid caps as well. I mean, you know, this doesn't represent all mid caps, but really, really interesting levels that you want to be watching on the ARK ETF. Then the NASDAQ, 14,180 is the level we keep talking about. You can see it was resistance in February of 2021, April of 2021, support in July of last year, October 2021, and now you're testing it one more time. So keep watching that level. And Zeke says, let's go hope small caps overall can start to turn around. I think they can. You just got to hold the level we just talked about. That's all you have to do. If that gets confirmed, you should be fine for the next few weeks, but it's all about watching that. and same thing on the Nasdaq. So just to go over it one more time, SPY break above this before breaking under this. Russell 2000 hold above this, 204. RKTF break out of the wedge before breaking down from the flag. Nasdaq break over 14,180 and don't reject it. You can see how all of them pretty much at the same time are testing their very, very important areas. And that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. You just got to break up. So that's why the next couple of days are very, very important for overall data. They're going to give you your confirmation to either direction, whether it's a bearish reject in a short-term downtrend or a reclaim of our long-term bullish trend. So that's my thoughts on the market right now. The 10-year actually put in its high of the rally today, pulled back a little bit later on. At least I think it did. I don't know. Yeah, on the 4-hour, went all the way up to 2.06%, but it is starting to finally show some resistance over here between 204 and 206. Hopefully this can maybe start pulling back down. You also have a triple classic bearish divergence. So lower time frames are starting to look a little bit overbought for the US 10-year. Higher time frames, you still just had a major breakout. So maybe this could lead you into like a back test of your major resistance zone, and then we'll see how it reacts there. Either it just fails to hold it, and that would be great for a lot of growth stocks, or if it doesn't and it back tests and it runs again, I mean, that's like a textbook break hook and go of a major breakout it's attempting to confirm. So keep a close eye on that if you're trading anything growth, or honestly just keep an eye on it if you're in the market at all. And the VIX, you just want this to make a lower low. It's got to make a lower low under 20, honestly. That's probably the biggest level I'd be watching. You know, maybe something like this would be amazing, but let's see how far down a 1618 would be. That's probably not happening. Yeah, it's not going to happen. So I don't think you're going to be getting a full exit BCD like that. So hopefully it just stops making higher lows. We just talked about this the other night. You've had a higher low, higher low, higher low. You want to make a lower low this time around. Otherwise, if this trend continues, the more amount of times you make a higher low leading up into this resistance zone, the higher the probability is that you break it. And you do not want to break over this resistance zone because that equals pretty much a crash. This is a COVID crash. This was 2018. This was 2015. I'm not really too familiar with all these. 2011, and then this was 2008. So you're trying to do everything you can to not get above and hold above 30, the mid 30s. As long as you can do that, that's what the VIX looks like, and that's really how I'm looking at things right now. You know, what I usually do on the streams is talk a lot more short term, look at the lower time frames. So I think right now we're testing such huge levels long term that this is a time where I think a lot of patience is required to see what we could look like for the next few months, few weeks. And then of course next month we have what most people are expecting, or people I've been seeing on CNBC and on Twitter and stuff. Rate hikes. We'll see what happens. That's a good pivot point. We had the FOMC minutes today. Let me see if I can pull up an article that explains it clearly, but nothing too much. I think a lot of people were really bearish going into that meeting today, and then it was just kind of like nothing. So I think that we just rallied because really nothing much changed. I believe they did say, I'm trying to look for an article, that they're looking into reducing the balance sheet or something earlier. I don't think there was much talk about rates. There we go. So federal, this is the best. I don't like seeking alpha, but it's the quickest article I could find. The Fed official agreed, or Federal Reserve official agreed, that the current economic and financial conditions would likely warrant a faster, pace. I don't know what that word is. Faster, is that a real word? That's why I don't like reading stuff on stream. Yeah, it is. A faster pace of balance sheet runoff than during the period of balance sheet reduction from 2017 to 2019. I believe 2018 was that big pullback we just looked at. So I don't know if they said anything apart from that. I think they said inflation is still hot. Inflation was the word inflation appeared 73 times in the document that was released today. And that's really it. I mean, nothing too crazy. There's now a 55.7% probability of a 25 basis point rate hike at the March meeting and a 44% probability of a 50 basis point hike. So yeah, we'll see what happens next month. But until then, I think it's just a situation where we're at make or break areas. We just got through a lot of news. We just got through a lot of earnings. And I think the last few weeks it's been a little bit tough to really just only follow technicals. I mean, there's been times where we've been able to only follow technicals and block out all the news in the market, and like the technicals literally played out perfectly in the past. But the last few weeks are the opposite, where the technicals were a little bit tough to follow, and it's really a news type market. So there's going to be different markets. There's going to be markets where the news is just BS, and they always try and give a reason as to why the market's up or down day by day, and just like random things, like what I'm talking about. And I've had a lot of rants about this in the past, where like CNBC will say like, oh, the market is up 0.5% today because of like some random factory having a good expansion in China and some cool trade. Like they'll just say something like that. Just makes no sense, and it's really because we had like a great double bottom and some bullish divergence, and it's just a natural movement of the market. But then there's times where you have a really bullish technical setup on the market that just gets invalidated because you have something like a potential war going on, or the Fed talking about inflation and all that stuff. So you just gotta understand there's gonna be times where technicals mean a lot less. There's gonna be times where technicals mean a lot more. I think the last 2 weeks have definitely put technicals aside, at least on higher time frames, lower time frames. It's been amazing to day trade if you've been in the Discord. But now we're finally entering an area where I think it's going to be a lot easier to see how things look with just the charts. But of course, you got to keep watching the news. There's still a lot going on with inflation, with Russia and Ukraine. Earnings are pretty much through, and then of course, any day, any hour, any news can always come out. So we just have to be ready. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the market. We can now go to the swings, and we'll start with Fisker. Let me pull up the earnings press release. There's a couple of things I actually tweeted out earlier today that I want to bring up. So let's talk about Fisker. And yeah, make sure to hit the like button if you didn't already. Hit the subscribe button. Join the Discord. Link is in the description. It's free. All right. Nothing too crazy from earnings. I think it was up like 3% after hours. So a year-end cash balance of $1.2 billion, and expenses and capital expenditures of almost $500 million was in 2021, I believe, in the full year. And they talked about the LA Auto Show. They began production of next level prototypes at the Fisker Ocean Assembly Facility. So we already saw the Fisker Ocean in their show in November, but I guess, they're still, that was just, I think they called it the production intent, which probably it's not the production vehicle. So maybe they're actually starting to make they don't actually have production until like the end of this year, but maybe they're starting to really finalize, the production intent. I don't know what terms they want to use, but we saw what we believe to be a very, very close version of the Ocean in November, but of course there's going to be some changes, and they still have a lot to talk about when it comes to the interior. There was actually some guy that made a YouTube video about the interior. I think Fenric Fisker was actually like showing the car to a lot of different media outlets back in November when they were doing the auto show, and somebody did actually do like a full tour of the interior. Maddie sent me that video. We should look at it on stream sometime, but let's get down to trying to look for the reservations. All right, so they did a survey, and according to the survey, 19% of vehicle reservation holders plan to get the Sport, 38% for the Ultra, and the highest version, the Extreme, 43%. So that implies an average selling price of $56K. Now remember, the starting price of the car is $37.5K. I don't know. A lot of people, might just put on the survey that they're going to get, a certain version of the car, but they might not. I don't know about this, but let's say it is. Let's say, it's just a rough survey. If that were to be the approximate, sale for each car, of course, it's not going to be literally. And you have 30K reservations, pretty quick math there. I'm sure they just, multiply these two together. I think I could figure that out. And that's probably, just because I'm saying it's probably wrong. Let me see it's that's how they're doing it there. See, I'm not good at this stuff. Yeah, that's how they did it. All right, so that gives you about $1.7 billion. Now, back in the day, for those of you who were following me when I made my original Fisker Ocean videos, or not just my original Fisker videos, my breakdowns, I did the same exact thing. I remember Henrik used to tweet like the reservation numbers, but I would use the 37 because at the time they hadn't revealed the second and third tiers of this car. They only had the starting version. So back in the day, I used to do this quite often on stream, and actually it's in one of my videos. I did the same thing, and it was not even close to 1.7 billion. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like a few hundred million the first time I did the math on that. So crazy to see how the reservations have just kept on inclining, and actually they put something about that here. Let me see. They said something about, maybe they tweeted it, I think. Yeah, I think the reservations are like, don't quote me on this, but I think they're like 4 times higher on average by day compared to how they were last year or something. I think they tweeted that. I might be in this, I don't remember. So yeah, I think that's really it. Again, it's a pre-revenue company. Their cars are not technically in production until the end of this year, so nothing too much change. I might have missed a couple of things. 47-cent loss per share. I think that was pretty close. And yeah. So I believe this is about, again, about $500 million in expenses for this year, just like last year. Actually, no, it says $700 to $800 million. So we'll see. They still have 1.3 they said in cash, 1.2 in cash. And yeah, that's the earnings for Fisker. It's nothing too crazy. Just figured I would go over it on the stream. And we can talk about the chart now. So I actually, earnings, Fisker made it through earnings, good. This is getting very, very interesting. Again, there's only 22 people in here. If this happens, okay, there's going to be a lot more than 22 people in here, and some of them are even going to be saying, oh, I wish I was watching back then. But remember, you're the 22 that are watching. I mean, earnings, you got your check. I mean, it's nothing crazy good, but it wasn't anything bad. And a lot of things are setting up, okay? You once again bounced, last 2 times you had major sell-offs, you bounced off this demand line, okay? You bounced off this demand line, you just did it again. You also just broke out of this channel on the daily. Today you broke out on Fisker, okay? You used this candle high, and you broke out today from that downsloping channel you've been in since November, all after getting close to the PC's daily and alternate bat and confirming classic bullish divergence on the daily. And even on the lower time frames, I tweeted this out, I shared this in the Discord earlier in the week when it was pretty much right over here. Your 3 rising valleys is now confirmed, okay? You made 3 higher lows in a row, you broke over your second peak of the valley, and you now have a confirmed 3 rising valleys. And even after hours, we can take a look at this. Look at that. Look at the technicals and the fundamentals coming together. Didn't we talk about that with AMC when it was $2 and GameStop when it was 11 and Fisker when it was 14 and went to 30 and QS when it was 40 and went to 70? I mean, how many times do we got to do this? How many times we got to do this? There you go. $12.15 when I was first talking about it. And after hours went all the way up to, did it really go up to $14.40? Wow. I actually didn't know that. That's crazy. So you went all the way up to the Wyckoff support after hours, if that's a real print. Impressive. You did close at $13.27, but if it actually went up to that area, then you pretty much went all the way back to this previous Wyckoff support that many of you probably remember. So yeah, that's Fisker. I think any day that it's closing above 1220 is really good. That's your low from September. It was your resistance for the past few weeks. You closed it back above it. You just want to hold above it, and you could see that first target. Technically, wait a second. If that's a real print, then the Fisker swing hit the first target after hours. 1 second. Okay then. Let's see. I don't know. It looks real to me. on Webull too. Oh my gosh. Okay then. 23% profit secured. First target was hit on Fisker. I need to put this in the Discord after the stream. Make a note. I didn't even realize that. All right, there. I mean, another one. Just add it to the books. So, yeah. If you were in the Fisker swing, 23% profit. First target hit. And Max is even saying someone sold at 14.49, so then it was definitely real. There you go. I mean, another one in the books. Okay. There was a swing alerted on Fisker right over here. There was a swing alerted on Fisker right over here. There was a swing alerted right over here. And right over here. And guess what? Right over here. All the major lows so far, there was a swing alerted. And every single one of these has hit a target. This is one of the greatest accomplishments of my life, okay? All the lows on Fisker. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to have a huge... The only thing I'm going to have a huge ego with is Fisker, because I was here with only a handful of you back in these days. And if you would have told me back in, more specifically, these days, when I had probably 500 followers on Twitter, I would have been able to identify the major swing lows on Fisker 5 or 6 times in a row, I'd call you crazy. And all those trades led to at least a 20% profit, and honestly most of them like a 40% profit at least. One thing I'm thinking about right now is if I would have played every single one of those swings with calls, like 2-month out calls, would have been crazy. I've actually played probably half of them with calls. So there you go. Can we get some vibes in the chat? First target hit on Fisker, 23% profit. I don't know. It's like back in the day when swings used to hit targets, everybody would be so happy. It's like now it doesn't really matter, I guess, to anybody, but I don't know. For the day ones in here, you know how much this means to me. So 23% profit on Fisker. We can move on. Let's talk about the other swings. Let's give an update on Bob. I haven't really updated in a while. Remember, this is a weekly chart I'm watching. The swing is down 4% since the entry. You still look exactly the same on the weekly. Patience. As long as you're above 111, patience. As long as you stay above that, you're now showing a double bottom at the PCZ of this scuffed alternate bat. These are how major trends can reverse, okay? I mean, you got to keep an eye on everything Chinese in terms of the market right now, but these are how things can reverse. Remember, we just talked about it on Fisker. I'm trying to talk about it right now. The number one frustration or pet peeve I have with just market participants in general is that nobody cares until things start going to the moon. And that's the easiest way, in my opinion, to make money, is to care when nobody else cares. And of course, you have to do your research and you have to know what you're doing. But when you actually have some sort of a skill, all you have to do is just wait until people are ignoring things. And then you just gotta be like the composite operator, okay? Look up the composite operator if you're new to the stream. Yeah, that way of looking at the market has completely changed how I've traded and how I look at everything. So not financial advice, but these are the times where I think the technical swing trader pays a lot of attention, which is where 90% of traders will not pay attention. That's why 90% of traders fail. That's just my opinion. So that's really it. And that's not just for Bob. I think there's a lot of assets that look very, very similar to that. Maybe CLOV as well. Earnings coming up soon. We'll see how that goes. Nothing really much technical to talk about, I think. I think it's just going to come down to earnings. I mean, I'd be surprised. The thing is, at this point, it's like, you know, a 30% sell-off on earnings would only be like $1 lower. You know, back in the day, we'd have dollar moves up and down like it was nothing. So it's a little bit weird to think that, like, if we do have like a dollar pullback on CLOV, that's a 30% move when it used to just be like, I don't know, let's just go back to a few months ago. Moving $1 on CLOV would have been a 20% move, you know what I'm saying? So it's increasing. Honestly, I thought it would be a little bit more extreme than that. I mean, let's take a look at it up here. This wasn't even a year ago, to be fair, okay? Let me do it kind of somewhere in the middle. Let's just do, okay. It used to be a 5% change, $1, now it's 30. And also the fact that if you do have some sort of a bad reaction earnings, then you're a penny stock. So it's a little bit scary, definitely is, to see how much it's already fell down and, you know, the chance of even falling more. But at the same time, it's the, all right, not financial advice, but this is the complete opposite of entering CLOV than it was up here, okay? This is greed squeezing the most amount of social media sentiment and chatter you'll ever see. And this is fear. Nobody's talking about it, apart from a few people, shout out to them. And pain and capitulation, and it's just the complete opposite psychology-wise. I'm not saying this is the bottom for sure. I truly hope it is. That's just really how you have to look at it. I think you just have to have a very holistic, I don't know if that's the right word to use. Wow, that's a really confusing definition. I just think you have to have a very open-minded approach to it. Just kind of take it for what it is. You can do all the technicals you want. I think it looks like it's breaking out of the wedge, but things like this can take time. And then Lucid, this is the newest swing. This was alerted yesterday. I wasn't live, but yeah, somebody requested this in the chat the other day, and I was like, I already had it charted, and I forgot I had this Gartley charted. But there you go. You got a double bottom at the PCC, the bullish Gartley, classic bullish divergence on the daily. All it really has to do is get back above 30. You got a little bit of resistance here historically at 30. You got your 200-day moving average. You get above that, and like there's literally nothing between like 30 and 36. And honestly, the second target's at 36. The first target's at 32, which is like a couple of these highs. So Lucid, I'm also keeping a very, very close eye. This is a major Gartley, okay? Looks similar to AMC, but AMC is even more of a monster. Like, look at this. I showed this to all of you like a month ago. You really thought this was not going to be a swing, and even the day I alerted it to premium members as a swing, I told every single one of you on the stream that I alerted it to premium members as a swing. These are the times I'm trying to tell everybody about, but only 20 people are listening. I'll keep repeating it because next time around, I can't wait to come back to the streams and just when there's 50, 60, 70 people in here, just look at, hey, I'm talking to my future self right now. How are you doing? That just happened, okay? 7, 8 months down the road, I don't know when it is, we're actually rewatching this clip, okay? So Tenderfoot, Zeke, Dave, Max, Scrooge, Plugray, D, all of you are in the chat right now. We're actually rewatching this clip, okay? Talking to the future champ. Isn't that crazy? So, yeah. But that's really it for the swings. Did I miss anything? No, I think I got it all. Anything else? Facebook, I'm still keeping a very, very close eye on Facebook. It gapped down today, which was very surprising to me because yesterday I had a hammer candle and a 4-hour bullish engulfing candle, but again, technical is never a certainty, but still looking interesting to me. I don't know if I look at it as a dragon anymore, but maybe more of a wedge. Facebook's finally starting to form this wedge on the 1 hour. I do have Facebook calls. I'm down a little bit on them. And 30-minute classic bullish divergence and a wedge. It's finding support in this 215 area. It's been doing it for a while now. This general area, this is the third time it's bouncing off of this area between 213 and 215, 216. You know, I don't know if the long-term bottom is in for Facebook, but I am set up for a run. You can see all my alerts set up over here. We'll see if it happens. Just getting divergence, and you're curling for the third time in a row this week at the same level, and you're showing wedges. It's very, very oversold on higher time frames. It's at a historical area, back testing areas from right before the COVID crash. See what happens. Again, you know, there's not much you can do on the daily. I'm not going to try and act like there is an edge on the daily. There's really not much of one, but on lower time frames, it's looking interesting. So I've been focusing on that. Palantir had earnings, if I'm not mistaken. Do they have earnings today? No, they have earnings tomorrow. So you can do all you want technically. Technically, you broke out of a wedge. You don't have much resistance till 17, and your closest support is 1177. That's really all you can do technically, and earnings will probably decide your next move in the next few days. So that's really it for that. Tesla, I'm still watching to see Tesla at this area. All right, if Tesla gets up to about $932, it's going to be at the PCZ of a bearish bat. It's going to be at a historical resistance. You're probably going to be oversold there. You might even have some hidden bearish divergence. So if the market's like, you know, looking bearish to me intraday tomorrow, the day after, and Tesla can't really break above this level and Tesla's looking bearish to me intraday, I'm still maybe looking for puts towards the end of the week on Tesla, but it's very easy, you know, maybe an entry of puts over here, like half position. And if it starts actually curling, maybe then go full position. But if it starts moving up here and it breaks out, just cut it at half position. So, you know, I'll probably look at it with as a low position size, which is not too easy with Tesla because of the contracts, but we'll see. So yeah, that's Tesla. Anything else? That one crazy? I don't know. Nothing too much. Yesterday was a crazy day. It would have been much better to go live yesterday. Today was pretty not much. Yeah, I don't know. If any of you are watching the stream here, you could have made so much money on calls. That's all I'm gonna say. You could have made so much. And I said, like, this was like, there was a stream where I did a watch list, and I told you all that this was one of my favorite assets that I was even thinking of. It was this, and I don't know if it was the same stream, but I also told you all about AT&T, like literally at this bottom before like a 23% move in like 2 months. But if anybody was here, and we were talking about the gold stock, where did it go? Again, I've just showed you a handful of tickers that I was just saying, you know, nobody cares about them right now. It's very, very quiet. I did the same exact thing right over here on gold. So nice to see that moving up. Even actual gold or spot gold is doing pretty nice, which I also said for the last 2-3 weeks I was looking very, very bullish. So we're seeing that do very, very well. Who remembers the hidden bullish divergence, the back test of a wedge? Again, these are the times where I tell you that I think things are bullish, right? Of course, you know, you can get bullish continuation. I'm not much of a continuation trader, but if you want to learn reversal swing trading, it's all about patience. It really is. So that's my breakdown of everything. Make sure to go watch the market segment if you didn't. And yeah, tomorrow night I should be live. It's gonna be a little bit tough, but it'll probably be a later stream. I know I went live earlier tonight, and tomorrow night's probably gonna be like at 9:30. And I know changing the schedule around just messes with the viewership like quite a bit. So it's kind of what I have to do for right now, unfortunately. So yeah, we could do a few ticker requests, but I can't do it unless we're at 20 likes. So I don't know. We got 14 likes. We have to be at 20 likes. That's like a rule in the stream for me to do ticker requests. And I'm not joking. If we don't get in a couple minutes, I'm getting off the stream. So if you got like a second account or something, like, I'll just wait. It's fine by me. Just need 2 more likes. We'll be good to go. Pretty boring, isn't it? There we go. All right, I think we're pretty much there. So drop some tickers in the chat if you want me to take a look, and I'll do a few. Yeah, nothing I say is financial advice. Technicals are not certainty. Futures slightly red, not too much. Bitcoin making a nice little move. Oh, space. We just looked at Palantir. I said, you know, earnings are tomorrow. It just broke out of a wedge. There's not much resistance till 17 on Palantir, but earnings will probably decide the short-term move. What was I trying to put in space? Space. I don't want to talk about space, but we will. And I'll explain why I don't want to talk about it. Oh no, you're good, Alexander. There's no way for you to have known. I was just saying. Is that it? Oh, sundial. That's also already on my watch list. Space. I was watching a space coming into this week, and I was watching it up like 10% yesterday, and I was debating putting out a swing on it. I saw it breaking out of this wedge, breaking above a very important level, which was like a previous major low from March of 2020, the COVID crash, and it was up like 7, 8, 9% yesterday morning. I was watching, it was on my other screen. I was like debating whether or not to put out a swing. I was like, I don't really want to do it because I believe the market had gapped up, or it just was looking a little bit, you know, it's not easy to alert something as a swing when it's already up 7-8% of the day and it's not like a low flow penny stock or something. So I debated it, and then it went up 13%, and then I debated it, and then it went up 18%, and then I was like, all right, there's no way, I just gotta wait for the pullback. 18% in the day is crazy, and then it was up like 30% yesterday, and at that point it would have already hit like the first target of the swing if I just alerted. So it was really frustrating yesterday, but still watching it. A little bit of an inside day today, pulled back. I'd probably, be waiting for like $9 or something. That's just me being greedy. It might not even touch 9 before going higher, but you just broke out of a very long-term wedge. You just double bottomed. Major green candle yesterday. I think above $9 on the Phantom space. I think it's a low risk, potential, high reward opportunity. Okay. 99% of the people on Twitter and stuff were telling you how bullish everything was over here because that was a very easy thing to do. I'm telling you over here, these are the areas for reversal swing traders, the composite operator. These are the areas where you look for, but these are the areas that take a very long time to make life-changing money. That's how wealth transfers. It takes the time. Okay, it's very quick and easy to make a quick buck and to lose a quick buck in times like these. But these are the times where patient money, smart money, and I'm not saying necessarily specifically for space, I'm just saying in general for most charts that are not horrible assets, because there are some horrible assets that look like this, and space is technically, I'm not saying it's a horrible asset, I'm just saying it could be debated that it's not necessarily currently the best business model. The industry is not really there for right now, but one day in the future, if it is, maybe this could go to space, you never know. So I'm just trying to make you all think about charts. It doesn't necessarily have to be about every single ticker I talk about. Of course, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just saying in general, when you do your DD and things check out and you get opportunities like this and you're patient and it's money you can risk. I'm going to leave it at that. Again, that's not specifically about space. You do whatever you want or don't do whatever you want without your money. Like, I don't just do whatever you want. I don't like getting into all that stuff because there's a lot of weird people. Sundial, I didn't even really look at it like this the other day. But look at this, it's testing a huge supply line of this wedge. And we've seen some crazy runs in Sundial in the past. This is a major wedge. Now the thing about Sundial is it's already up, 61% off the low, literally like not even a month ago. So there were definitely, just a few weeks ago, were better times for an entry. But still, I mean, it's still much lower than it was last summer. So I don't know, it just depends on how you look at it, short term, long term. I don't know much about the company and how all the bills are going with marijuana and whatnot, but technically, if it breaks the wedge, textbook target, which again could take a lot of time, will be around $1. BBIG. It's testing 377, which is a resistance I've charted. If it breaks above it, then you got 421. Really, it's not too easy to chart BBIG right now. I think if you really zoom out and take a look at it, it looks a little bit, cleaner than all those lines I had on my chart. If you look at it like this, then it's pretty close to like a dragon pattern, I guess. We got like a first low and a second low. So let's just take a new fresh look at BBIG. All right, so if we look at it like this, that's how I'd look at it. All right, these would be the levels. I just redrew them. 730 is a 50% retrace, a little bit of a gap fill area. Again, that's very far away. You're gonna need catalysts. You're gonna need probably social media sentiment when it comes to something like this for it to even get there. But I'm just saying, just to learn technicals, that's how you could target a dragon. However, I think 382s are also something you can look for. Even here, that's another level. 592 is around a gap fill and a high from over here. So, there's definitely zones you can aim for in something like this. But at the same time, the risk is there as well. What if it breaks this demand line and then you could call it a bear flag? Like the ARK ETF, right? So you have like a longer term supply line that you're about to test. But what if it breaks down? What if it uses this as a bear flag and it breaks down, right? Look at this longer term supply line and then shorter term bear flag potentially. Looks very similar to this chart right over here, right? So those are just the different ways you can look at it. And Roblox, yeah. earnings. Yeah, SOFI also. The thing about SOFI is it has resistance just above it. It's testing to break out of the wedge based on how I have it charted, but it's got this resistance zone, which used to be a support zone, and it did already flip into resistance over the past few weeks. But if it, if it springs back above that support, then, historically the last 3 times you're at the bottom of this range, you went to the top of this range, or the last 2 times. We'll see. I think patience is the #1 word when it comes to this market right now. Not too much I can do with LEU, but it looks like it already broke out and it's already been running, I think that's more technical areas, even though it was a pretty bearish trend, technically still is making lower lows and lower highs until it breaks up those lights, that at least. But I think it was a lot more technical over here. It's some classic bullish divergence, a wedge. Now it's already kind of up, 60% from the low. So I could just chart levels at this point. Alright, so those are levels I'd be watching. And then Roblox got destroyed on earnings. I'd probably just extend this channel at this point. And yeah, all-time lows on Roblox. Am I buying this dip? No, I'm not. I think I'd wait for it to break out of this channel first, because I don't know. Still in the downtrend. Had a great start, and it's not been doing too hot since November. So it not, personally, again, you do whatever you want, you do your own due diligence. I don't know too much about them fundamentally, but I'd honestly just wait till it broke this out of this channel. But again, it could go up higher before that. I don't know. Boeing cup and handle on the 1 hour. Take a look. Yeah, you could call it that. Just draw a very loose version of. Come on. There's your cup and handle. Got some resistance around 232. Those are the main levels that I'll be watching. You're kind of right in between them. Zeke just put Rip Nancy Pelosi's Roblox calls in the chat, and I just thought of Google when he said that, because I think she got calls in Google a while back as well. Don't quote me on that. So I just looked at Google and it looks pretty interesting. Upstart. Shark playing out. It's up 89% since the PCC of this shark. And I do believe I was looking out down here. I think there was also a swing in these areas and it got stop hunted or stopped out. Ugh. It's running. That's great. I don't know. Earnings today. Nice. So it looks like it went crazy on earnings. Yeah, this was another one. This was another one I said over here. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares about it. But there is a chart. Take a look at it. It's testing, back testing the historical area. Look at this. I'm just trying to show you, like, these things just happened like a month ago. Now I'm showing you a basket of other stocks that looks similar to stocks like this in these areas before the moves up. That's why I want people to start caring, right? So that's Upstart. I mean, at this point, it's just levels. Got a gap filling out like 1 to 110. I think Bank of America will be the last one. Hit the like button if you don't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel and you want to learn how to trade stocks. I'm not a financial advisor, but I could share what I've learned in the past few years. RKLB, I just look at like a downsloping channel. Earnings are coming up soon, so see how that goes. And then the levels are already charted. That's really it. I guess it's also testing previous support right now, trying to reclaim that. Uber. This is how I do Uber. Bit of a downsloping channel or wedge. And got some sort of historical support, you know, in the lower 30s. Those are all the levels on Uber. Yeah, it's nice. I think you just got to hold above 32. And so it looks okay to me for right now. Bank of America. It's kind of like a double top with bearish divergence. I'm not the biggest fan of it right now, but the trend is still your friend. So you still always have that argument until you make a lower low, which pretty much means under like 42. But yeah, you just, you know, one top, a second top, lower amounts of positive momentum on the second top, and you know, this is probably your closest support. There's not much until then. Of course, there's lower time frame stuff, and it's the financials, so it moves pretty close with a lot of other financials. They're pretty correlated, obviously. So that's one way to look at Bank of America, and then maybe even just like this, longer term. Still in an upsloping channel, so maybe it pulls back to the demand line eventually. Who knows? And did I miss Microsoft? Oh, I typed that in. Oh, it's already there on my watch list. Okay. Delta. It's a long-term breakout. It's a long-term breakout. You do have a lot of different levels you gotta watch though. I mean, there's a lot here. Those are like the levels. Quite a few of them. That's what it is. I just want to see it hold above the 200-day moving average. You know, it got above it for a bit here, above it for a bit here, and then fell back under. You do not want it to do the same thing again. And then finally, Microsoft hidden bearish divergence. You know, was developing for a while. Now it's paused or stalled out. It's not confirmed. Just trying to hold on to that 200-day moving average. Pretty close to like a dragon pattern. It looks kind of similar just to the S&P 500. Very, very high or low for a double bottom, so I don't know if I look at it like that. So, I mean, it looks very similar to the S&P. At the same time, you still have like the bearish argument, whereas if it cannot break above 315, and the potential head and shoulders, make or break areas. Futures still relatively flat. Skip T. Lou says, great to be able to tune in a little bit more often. Hospital's been nuts lately. Keep up the great work, champ. Proud to be a premium member. See you soon. Vibe. Skip T. Lou, thank you for all support. Hope everything's all right. Message me with how everything's going. Let me know what's up. And yeah, wishing, I don't know, you know, how things are going, but I hope that they get better if they're not good. And yeah, just gotta stay strong. All right, so I think that's gonna be it for tonight. Hit the like button. Let's get to 30 likes if you can. And if you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. Hit the subscribe button. All right, I'll see you all most likely tomorrow night. I'll keep you updated in the Discord. Well, if I don't say anything, that means I will be streaming. If I say I'm not streaming, then you could do the math. All right, good night.